Hey guys! Today I'm going to give you guys a tour of my little garden and my little patio. I know that many of you have followed my renovation story on the blog. You know that we renovated our little 1930s cottage, but the yards have taken a little longer. When we moved in, there was no grass in the front. We had added a porch on the side, and we basically had to start from scratch with the outdoors. The lady that lived here before me, she had a very green thumb and she had planted a lot, but they were all in weird places. So unfortunately, I was only able to keep a few of the existing plants, and we basically kind of had to start over. So it's going to be a fun afternoon. I'm going to walk you around and give you a tour of my patio and my front porch area. We're going to talk about some plants. We're going to talk about the best plants to grow for cutting to bring indoors. We're going to talk about sun and shade and herbs. So I can't wait to get started and show you guys around my yard. My favorite way to garden is container gardening. I like to keep all my pots close to my porches and to my hoses so that they're easy to get to. And I just love to have easy things to come out and clip to either bring in the house. I've got a little herb garden for cooking. And I just think it helps create such a pleasant and beautiful space. When we sit out here, I just love looking at all of my containers. So just a few things to keep in mind when you are container gardening is mixing different types of plants so that you have tall plants. You're going to want some that spill out. You just want different layers. Everything in life is prettier with layers. Artwork, plants, you just need to layer them up. So for these particular pots, you can see, like this is my little rosemary topiary that is dual purpose. You can use this as fresh rosemary, but it's also just pretty. And then I've got little vines spilling out of that. I don't know what these are, but I love them. I've had them this year and last year. I just think they're so wispy and fun and just give a little whimsy. Now, I don't like to mix a lot of different colors, but if you do, that's great. I kind of like to keep things a little more monotone. And then with my planters, same. I didn't want to use a lot of funky colors, so I kind of kept it a little more natural looking with concrete, terracotta. You're going to see a little bit of blue peeping out as we tour around the yard, but I just kind of like to keep my containers looking a little similar. Not matching, but just all in the same sort of color family. One of the things I'm most proud of outside is my little patio. I started a little walkway that connects the front to the back a couple years ago, but I've just had not had the time to finish the patio. So last year during quarantine, we used all of our extra time, Matt and I, in the afternoons to come out and get a good start on the patio. We almost got finished, but not quite. You can tell quarantine was over, life got busy again, so we still have a little work to do. It's just going to kind of taper off towards the fence. But we have used this area so much in the fall and the spring. We just love to be outside. We love to sit out here under our little string lights, have a cocktail. We entertain guests out here a lot. And when it's cool enough, we have loved having our fire pit. The spring, winter, fall, if it is the least bit cool, once it gets dark, we're going to be out by the fire pit, which I know might seem a little weird living in town, but we just love to be outside. So anytime that it's pretty enough, we're on the patio or by the fire. I also love to keep a little pot of herbs right by my kitchen door, so if I'm cooking, I can just run out in a pinch and grab something. So I have a little mint, basil, parsley, and chives. Those are my favorite things to cook with, and those are the things that I use the most often. So they're just conveniently located here by my steps. And as we walk up, I just want to point out I'm starting little border plants along the edge of the walkway. So this is my favorite fern. I have it planted everywhere. If you zoom in on the pictures, you're going to notice it a lot more places. So I know that still looks a little rough, but we're getting fern and moss started there. And let's walk around to the front. You may remember from some of my before pictures in the blogs, when we moved in, we had no grass out front, and this was all dirt. So I've worked very hard laying this pretty little brick walkway If you see humps and bumps and it looks a little unlevel, it's because I did it myself. And then you can see my dad, the good fairy, has helped me work really hard on getting the grass to grow in. So I'm pretty proud of how the front looks. I did run into a little snafu a couple years ago. I had a beautiful oak tree in the front that was rotten and we didn't know it. So I had planted everything in the front for shade, and then we lost our beautiful tree. So over the last year, I've had to kind of replace and replant. I had to move all my shade plants to the backyard, and I had to replant up front for sun. I do have a new tree planted that you'll probably get to see later, but it's gonna take it a while before it gives us any shade. So this is our pretty patio and all of our pretty little plants, and we'll take a little closer look at some of those. So let's talk about a few good options of plants for sun. So in the front, because I lost my tree, I have full, hot afternoon sun. So that doesn't mean that you still can't have some beautiful plants. So up front, you can see I've started rosemary, and this is a Texas sage, a type of Texas sage. I love lavenders and sages. There's so many different kinds. I've actually tried several different kinds up here with no luck. They always die. But I got to chatting with a very helpful lady at a nursery, and she told me that's probably because my soil doesn't have enough lime. Now, you can buy lime to add to your soil, but I'm a little lazy and I'm not great at keeping up with things like that. So she suggested that I just plant a cinder block under my plant, which is what I've done. So he's only been here since last September, but he's holding his own and looking pretty good. So I'm hoping that the cinder block was working. You can also see on this side, I've got more container gardens. So I told you already, I don't know what these are. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is, but those are pretty little moss roses that are gonna spill out of the front. I thought about Googling and getting my dad to come over so that I knew all the names of the plants and that you guys would think I just was so great and had such a green thumb, but I decided to be a bit more realistic. I actually don't know the names of all of these plants. But when you're at the nursery, the people that work there are a wonderful resource to you. If you're not sure if something will work, explain where you want to put it, and they can help you decide whether or not it'll be a good fit. You can also check the little cards that come in the plants. They're going to tell you how much water they require, how many hours of sunlight they need, so that's a great resource too. So, confession, I don't know the names of all of my plants, but I do know that they're planted in the right spots. You can see in this little container garden, zinnias, angel vine, and ivy are also good choices when you're working with full sun. Few good options for shade or partial sun are begonias, hydrangeas, and lots of different kinds of ferns. Again, you can just read the cards that are in the plants at your local nursery to see how many hours of shade or sun each plant needs. I have so enjoyed giving you a little tour of my garden and my patio today. I hope it's inspired you to work on your own outdoor spaces and just treat them as an extension of your home, a place that you just love to relax and be. Even if you don't have a super green thumb, I just think it's so therapeutic to just work in the dirt, have a few containers that you love, and just make your outside a place that you love coming home to, that you're proud of when you drive up in the driveway. So thanks for hanging out with us today, and happy gardening.